Just before I get carried away, let me give due honor to those who due honor is due. And I think the first person I want to honor very much is Jonas Mushosho. Jonas is a pioneer, the founding managing director or CEO of Old Mutual Africa, who single-handedly, with missionary zeal, kept talking and speaking about this vision of a business in Africa. At a time when there were no people listening, at a time when there were no people taking us seriously, but he kept talking and talking and implementing until the dream became a reality. When I think about this extraordinary work that Jonas did, I always think about my visit to an art gallery in Canada in 1988. So we went to this wonderful place, and they showed us great pieces of art. And we had a wonderful tour guide. And she kept showing us these pictures and explaining what each particular piece of art represented. Then we came to a section that was full of art by one particular artist. And she began to describe the development, the growth of that particular artist. And as we moved through the section, the pictures were getting better and better. However, when we got to the last piece of art, the tour guide became very, very emotional and passionate. And she showed us this piece of art, which to me made no sense, because it was just a mass of black. And it looked untidy, and there was a tiny little piece of white in the midst of that black piece of art. And our tour guide, in that passion, said, "This is the greatest work of this artist." And it made no sense to me. But she went on and she said, as time went on, the artist got so engrossed in his art. By the time he did this piece of work, the artist and the art had merged and become one. This mass of black you see, and the little piece of white that you can see on this board, this is the place, the white piece is the place through which the artist entered into his art. Just think about it. The artist entered into his art. The artist was consumed by his art. If you are going to succeed, success does not just come. And I'll talk a little more about success. But that is what I saw in Jonas. Jonas kept talking about this vision. And you could see the fire in his eyes. You could see the commitment. You could see the determination. And you could never separate Jonas from the vision of Africa. And here we are today. Several years after he went on a lone mission. A lone mission to launch what will represent the future of Old Mutual on the African continent. When the history of Old Mutual is written in the years to come, the name of Jonas will be indelible. It will be remembered. Remembered as a founding father. Remembered as a pace setter. We are so honored that Jonas agreed to come and be our guest of honor. I'm thankful that you clapped. Johannes, I salute you. And I want to thank your wife, Paulina, because as you went up and down the African continent, she remained at home with the kids. She remained looking after the things that pertain to the family, and she never slowed you down. So thank you, Paulina, and well done. Let's give her a round of applause. So we do now have a business to talk about. Why are we here today? We are here to celebrate the sterling work that people within the African business of Old Mitchell did over the past year in 2016. This event, this offshore convention, it does not come cheap. It costs a lot of money. For your own information, to get each delegate here and back home, it costs no less than 10,000 US dollars. But we are glad and happy to spend this amount of money. Why do we spend this amount of money? We are spending this money because it matters that we should celebrate the winners among us. In the Roman Empire, there was an occasion that has become renowned and part of tradition. It was called the triumph. The triumph was an occasion in which the all-conquering Roman generals would march through the streets of Rome. In front of them were the vanquished kings. And the citizens of the city, the citizens of Rome, would line the streets, and the conquering general would be in a chariot drawn by 4 horses, receiving the applaud and the applause, the honor, the cheer, not only of the citizens of Rome who were thankful that because of their conquests, Rome continued to grow and Rome remained safe. They were also being honored by their colleagues. It made everybody seek and desire to be a winner. This is why we do this occasion, because winners matter. It is winners who take our business to the future. It's not a lot of money to invest in winners, to say we recognize your efforts. It is your efforts that are shaping the future. It is your efforts that are putting our business on the map. It is your efforts that are ensuring that there will be a future for Old Mutual. I tell people that when I have time, I like to watch sports news. And those of you from Africa, you know, there's a wonderful sports channel by SuperSport. And they call it the World of Champions. SuperSport have created a world, and they call it a world of champions. A world in which champions live, they traverse, they thrive. But if there's a world of champions, a world of winners, it also means there's a world of losers. I am so delighted tonight that we are not gathered because of losers. We are gathered because of winners. Winning is an attitude. I never forget many years ago when I went to the high school where my firstborn daughter was a Form 3 high school student. And with all the stresses that I'd picked during the day, I arrived at the school, and my daughter looked at me once, and she made a statement that I will never forget as long as I live. She said, "Dad, losers wear a frown, but winners wear a smile." I am pleased that tonight is not about losers. Tonight is about winners, and you are the winners. You can afford to cheer yourselves and to celebrate yourselves. We didn't come this whole way to be sad. We came this whole way to create an environment and an atmosphere in which we can celebrate and celebrate big. Come on, celebrate. Thank you. Thank you. Winning does not happen by chance. There is a method to winning. There are certain things that if you do, you follow, you persist on, they will produce the results. So that world of champions that we talk about on SuperSport, on the sports channels, when you look at it very carefully, you will see that there are ways of thinking, ways of talking, ways of acting that characterize winners. In the same way, it means there are ways of thinking and talking and acting that characterize losers. When you go back from here, stay away from those who talk, think, and act like losers. In fact, I tell people, losers and winners live in different worlds. Never, never grant a visa to a loser into your world. Keep around those who will infect you with a desire to win. These conventions that we hold, we don't do them in the spirit of communism or socialism, where we say, let's give others a chance also. No. We are not here to give others a chance also. We are here to hold a victory parade for those that are prepared to win. And if you win every year we will do a victory parade for you. If you are a partner, and let me thank the partners who have come to support us and to be with us, you have every reason to be proud of what your partner has achieved. And that's why we must make tonight very special, so that you can recognize and you can understand that the person you stay with in the house is no mean person. You stay with a winner, a person respected and honored within the old mutual family. But let me also tell you, having won this past year, if you don't come back next year, let them not tell you they have given others a chance also. No. We don't give others a chance also. There's a man called Gideon Duplessis. I watched his video that he prepared. Phenomenal seller in our South African business. 30 years on the trot. He was the top seller, number one seller. And for 30 years, he kept going on this offshore convention. I hope we can have more Gideon to places among us. People that keep going and going and going. A couple of thoughts around this winning mentality. Winning requires you to be inspired sometimes by other people. Like when I look at Jonas taking over this job, some people say, how do you manage? I said, don't even feel sorry for me. I'm so excited. Why am I excited? I am excited because when there was nothing, when there was no infrastructure, there was somebody who ran around with this job with missionary zeal. I'm in a much better position than Jonas. I have all of you. And many others who are not there. We have the support structures that Jonas did not have. So if Jonas could do it with no infrastructure, how much more should we achieve with all the support that we do have now? And I always tell people, we stand on the shoulders of giants like Jonas. My favorite character in history is a man called Julius Caesar. He was content to be a second-rate Roman general in the province of Gaul, modern France. Until one day, they showed him the statue of Alexander the Great. And they said, this boy, at the age of 28, he had conquered the then known world. The man groaned, because he realized that although he was much older than 28, he had resigned himself and accepted that he could be number 2. Never resign yourself and accept to be number 2 in life. You don't wake up in the morning. You don't wake up in the morning with a dream and a desire to go and be number 2. That is no reason for waking up. You don't wake up in the morning, or you don't lift up your hand in class and you say, when I grow up, I want to be the vice captain. You want to be at the top. You want to be the best that you can be. You want to aim for the best that can be done by a person like you. So Julius Caesar decided, although these guys are honoring me, we're not staying here, we're going to Rome and be number 1 in Rome. So he gathered his troops and they began to go towards Rome. And as they go to the river Tiber, the powers that were there in Rome, scared of what might happen if Julius Caesar and his troops arrived and landed in Rome, sent a message that said, Julius Caesar, the day that you and your troops cross the Rubicon River armed, you will be declared the enemies of the state. He had a choice to make peace with the powers in Rome and die as number 2, or to march towards Rome with the possibility that he could become number 1. And he said the die is cast. And he crossed the Rubicon River. And as they say, the rest is history. The man became number 1. And when Shakespeare thought and wrote about Julius Caesar, he says the man did bestride the world like a colossus. If you start winning, you can keep winning and winning and get bigger and bigger and bigger. There was a time when there was so much competition among the airlines. An African airline, Zambia Airlines, competing among the giants of the airline industry. They had a little punchline that said, Zambia Airlines, we are getting better all the time. That's the attitude that I want you to have in your life. No matter what obstacles you meet, tell yourself you are getting better. You are heading upwards and not southwards. If you won last year, you are even going to win more and better in the coming year. I want to conclude by saying a few remarks about one of my other favorite characters that I use to inspire myself. And I often talk about other things about him, but I want to take a different perspective. Muhammad Ali, the late, great boxer. Suddenly, when his career was taking shape, he gets banned from boxing because he refused to be conscripted into the U.S. Army for the Vietnam War. He lost many years. And sometimes we think we have lost time. Even when you have lost time, there is still enough time for you to succeed and to make a mark. When he got back into the ring, he got back with such determination, sheer determination. Because for you to succeed, you need determination. You are not going to find when you go back to your country, to your station is not like a triumph, a victory parade. The victory parade is what we are holding tonight. When you go back home, you are going back to the trenches, where every voice of discouragement will be against you. In that environment, Muhammad Ali said, I am the greatest. He'd speak to himself, encourage himself, frighten his opponents. Muhammad Ali, he floats like a butterfly and he stings like a bee. So a fight was coming against George Foreman. George Foreman was a hardy hitter. And he was not even sure how things would go. Big-mouthed as Ali was. When they asked him about this fight, he just said it's going to be a rumble in the jungle. I'm not even sure how things are going to go. But he prepared. Success is not coming by chance. It comes by preparation. He prepared. He knew the environment in which he was going to fight. He knew the boxer he was going to fight against. He was a tough puncher. And he exercised until the muscles of his stomach were as hard as stone. And when he got into the ring with George Foreman was accustomed to knocking people in second, third round. And Ali went and leaned against the ropes. And George Foreman, in his fury, began to hit, but he did not know that he was hitting against the stone. In his own words, George Foreman says, after round 5, I knew it was going to be a long night. Make the things that fight you confess that it's going to be a long year. Don't be the first one to surrender. Then in the 7th round, he says to him, it's now my turn. And he knocked him out. The next fight was against his keenest opponent, Joe Frazier. And it was going to happen in Manila. And Ali liked to taunt Fraser. He looked at himself, he considered himself as a very handsome man. And Joe Fraser was quite interested. They asked him about the fight in Manila. He says it's going to be a thriller, a killer and a chiller when I meet the gorilla in Manila. In going to Manila, he actually thought this was going to be a thriller. And he was expecting a quick win. But that fight in Manila ended up taking longer than the rumble in the jungle. All of a sudden, the unexpected happened. He was pounded and pounded, but he kept pounding back until in the 14th round, the doctor stopped the fight. When you go back, your environment will pound and pound and pound. When that starts happening to you, don't lift up your hands in horror and in despair and give up. When you are pounded, pound back. That is what makes champions. But tonight was about just saying thank you for the work you did. Thank you for your success. Go back and build upon this success. Enjoy the rest of your stay at this convention. And well done, and hope to see you next year. Thank you.